He was a former fullback at the University of Alabama. He's a guy that does the blitz here each morning's beginning at 6 a.m. and then the encore edition at 6 p.m. Martin Houston, hopefully you're having a great afternoon. Welcome into the game in T-Town.
I am doing well, Ryan, and hopefully you are as well.
All right, so Tua Tagovailoa back in the headlines after returning to Hawaii and doing a speaking engagement. He said that he was very, very close to leaving the University of Alabama. Your thoughts?
Well, as he said, from my understanding, he said he had decided that if he didn't want to play, he didn't play, he was leaving. So, I guess not surprised, disappointed, but not disappointed, if that makes sense. Let me explain, Ryan. When you look at him, the kid, unbelievable talent, and wants to play more. So just the pure competitor in him is going to want to be out there. That forget who's in front of him, forget what the guy in front of him has done. That competitor is going to be there. Was a little disappointed that he had made that big of a decision after 1 year, and that's probably where the disappointment is, because I don't see why he assumed that he would have done something different. I understand if the Auburn game had happened earlier in the year, then I would understand that sentiment. But the fact that the guy who had been the man before had not lost until that Auburn game, even though he struggled against Mississippi State, he still pulled the team out. That's probably from the standpoint of he had given up on a year instead of coming back and fighting after that. That part's disappointing. Then on the other side, hey, listen, the guy probably has the talent to be a three-and-done type of guy, and he knew that one of those was already going to be used up. So I know that's all over the place, but I think I can explain why I felt that opinion.
All right, so you look at Tua Tagovailoa. We talk about the game is so close. If Calvin Ridley doesn't stumble going into the end zone, then we're probably talking about Tua Tagovailoa transferring to USC.
Well, Ryan, yeah, you look at it without a doubt. Everybody says that play. The other play that we don't think about is what if they don't get that late touchdown and it's just 6-0? They scored right before the half. It was as bad as Jalen had performed in the first half. The reality of it is, right before halftime, if they don't get that late touchdown, it's a 6-0 game. And is Nick Saban at that point going to make that move? And that's how close we came to potentially missing one of the greatest individual half performances by any player at any level, and then one of the greatest plays in the storied history of Alabama.
So when you look at Tua Tagovailoa, because of that moment, because of that play, we are here having this quarterback debate. You got a guy, and maybe this debate would have been settled several weeks ago if Tua would have been able to stay healthy. That was not. So maybe that's what's continued this conversation of Tua versus Jalen and Jalen versus Tua, and everybody's picking sides. Maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation if Tua was able to stay healthy throughout spring.
Ryan, and I've not said this. I was thinking, I said, I know Ryan's going to ask me about this, and that's going to come up. Did Nick Saban pull one over us on the spring game? If Tua was that close to transferring, Saban probably knows that. And if Jalen has already said that he's going to transfer if he doesn't get the job, then you got two guys that both of your starter or potential starters with transfer tied to their name. Did Saban pull one over us by Tua re-injuring that hand? Because if Tua goes out and settles it on spring game, where's Jalen at now?
North Texas?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but based on what his dad said, he's out of here. So did Saban pull one over on us? Did he intentionally have the medical doctor
Oh, come on, Martin. You're not going there, are you?
I'm asking. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what I said on my show this morning is I agree with Newhouse. This team, man, to lose as much talent as they did, Ryan, it looks like this team is potentially gearing up to be scary good. And if they perform to their potential, like if Tua performs to his potential and his defensive line performs to their potential, this team is going to be crazy good. The only thing that can destroy it is division, in my opinion. And if Jalen is clearly the guy, not going to be the guy, then maybe he's out of here. But if there's still hope and still a chance, he hangs around and it keeps going. And Saban, his biggest issue, I think, in his tenure is going to be managing that locker room with two guys. Fortunately, if they both stay, he has two young men that character far exceeds anything I've seen. And I'll say this about the Tua thing. I know it sounds, it could be the seed of division, but I don't think that's what Tua was saying. I don't think Tua was threatening or anything like that. I think Tua was referring and trying to teach kids about persevering and hanging in and not quitting. Even though that was in his mind, I think he was using it. If you get the whole lesson, he was using it to teach young people, hey, guys, don't quit. Don't do what I almost did, because had I did, I would have missed the end blessing that was in store for me. And that's the way he ended that conversation.
All right, so we've got people that are saying that Tua Tagovailoa is the best player in all of college football. He's the number one quarterback in the SEC, number 2 quarterback overall. But you got some people that just will continue. I think it's a little bit early. Vegas has got him as one of the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. Are we hyping this thing too much, man? I mean, you always say the hype train has left the station, has it?
Well, I think we're hyping it too much as a done deal. When I hear guys say potential, then I don't think you're overhyping, because if you look at what he did in mop-up duty, Ryan, what did we say? Man, if he can do that against the first-string guys, this guy's going to be special. Well, he did that. Now the question is if he can do it for 12 games when someone has scouted him for 13, 14 games against top talent that has a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a season worth of data, can he still do it? And if the answer to that question is he can perform, and here's the thing, he doesn't have to perform at the level he did in the second half to still be one of the best players in the country. If he performs at that level every game, then the guy's going to be walk-away Heisman, a runaway Heisman Trophy winner. But the key, Ryan, there is the potential. And this is what I always say, and everybody can say, I'm still on the Jalen train. I've never owned either train. I just didn't think Jalen should have been benched. So he did something to be benched, and that's what happened in the national championship game, and that's what happened. He got benched. But Tua has yet to start a game, and therefore, in my mind, until Tua does it, Jalen still is the returning starter who looks like he may be looking from the sideline, looking for packages. But until that happens, I can't make the guy the greatest player in this country, but he has the potential to be one of the best to ever play at Alabama if he lives up to his potential.
Sounds like you're getting on the Tua train to me.
No, the Tua train, man, there's no seats left. I mean, there's just not any seats left on the Tua train. So
hey, it's standing room only, man. It's standing room only. You know, we've been to some of these trolleys like down in New Orleans. You just got to stand, man. I mean, hey, Ryan, you should have got on the seat last May.
Hey, Ryan, I'm telling you, if I want to try to get on the Tua train right now, you got some listeners that will push me off. So I'm just gonna stay and watch the Tua train and cheer it on as it passes by.
Do I need to go back to all of our texts? I mean, it would probably take me a year, but I could go back through all of our text messages, and I could find the scrimmage that Martin Houston went to, and he literally texted me. And I mean, I'm telling you, it would take me a year to go back through all of our stuff. But Martin Houston sent me a text after going to one of these scrimmages, and he goes,
the first one.
the real deal. Real deal. And
you asked me at that point, was he as good as hyped? And I told you, no, he's better.
That's right. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said from the beginning. People just misunderstood me I was never saying Jalen was a better quarterback than Tua. I was saying Jalen didn't do anything to lose his starting job before the national championship game. Now, I would have benched him probably in the Auburn game and just to get a spark. But once like his dad said, he opened the door, and now the door's open, and made the best man win.
We're going to see. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun it's kind of like the fight that we're anticipating, and I'm talking about heavyweight fight, like as we follow Deontay Wilder. It's kind of like the fight that we amp up, and then we don't get it in the spring, and now we're having to wait, 80-something days away from fall camp starting. We get that fight then, and it's not a fight, but it's a battle. We all love competition.
And that's the beauty of this, Ryan. If you played the game, you understand. May the best man win. I personally really don't have a dog in the fight. I want both of these young men to be successful. And if Jalen stays, if he's a starter, great. If he's not, hopefully he has a role. If he is a starter, hopefully Tua has a role. To me, they're both too talented to be on the same sideline, on the same team, and not be a regular contributor to the offense, which Tua was too good for that last year. And I started saying that from the LSU game on, that I thought he would get some meaningful player time. But he didn't. Now Nick Saban has a job that's difficult and tough, but guess what? Wouldn't every other coach in America like to have a guy that's 26-2 and a guy that potentially is being rated, if he lives up to his potential, as the best player in college football?
Oh,
most coaches would kill for that.
but I will say this, and I know you got to go because you've got to.
I'm fine.
All right, but let me say this with Nick Saban, he's going to have to really toughen up a little bit. Okay, I'm talking about Nick Saban because he talks about this quarterback and he doesn't want to get questions about the quarterback, regardless, because we did not have the competition this spring. When he goes to Sandestin coming up in a couple of weeks. And then when he makes probably 20 appearances inside SEC Media Days, what's the first question that's going to come out? Quarterback competition. He's going to hear it.
Everybody in the country is talking about it. I mean, it is one of the more intriguing things. We can say what we want. I don't know if you've ever had this type of situation. 26-2, you've led your team to the national championship game twice. And now you're literally, unless something drastically changed, anyone that's looked at the data, anyone that saw the spring game, the last thing Nick Saban let us see of Tua, and that's why I said, did he pull one over us? On us, Ryan, the last thing we saw of Tua was how great he was. The last thing we saw of Jalen was the Georgia game, and then backed up by a lackluster performance in the spring game. That's the two. Anybody looking at that would say, what? That Tua is going to be the man. And when you bench a guy that's 26-2, that's the type of disparity you need to see in the performances. So I'm not sure that Nick Saban is smarter than we think he is.
If he's done this, man, he's even more brilliant than what I thought.
I'm not saying he faked the injury. I'm saying that he, instead of him pushing to him and making him go out and play, Ryan, or allowing him to play, did they play it smart on two parts? He doesn't go out and look bad and show a bad performance. He doesn't go out and hurt himself. And, if Jalen had a great performance, would it have changed anything? No. Should have been the same conversation.
Martin Houston, have a great evening, man. You going out to high school football tonight?
Yes, Northridge High School, high school in a spring game for the T-Town Shootout. Student is a sophomore. I guess an upcoming sophomore. So, going to be at the game tonight at 6 o'clock over at Northridge.
Hey, Martin, talk about your agency real quick. I gotta get to break before Marquise really gets me here.
Hey, look, if you're looking to protect the things you value the most, whether it's your home, your auto, your life, your business, whatever it is, if you're looking to have it insured and protected and properly covered, Alabama One Agency is the agency you need to call. We're an independent agency, meaning that we have various companies. We'll shop it for you. We'll get the best rates for you. And all you have to do is call WIN number or go to our website, alabama1agency.com. And it's your one source for insurance. So now at Alabama One, we say you can finance it with the credit union and you can insure it with the agency. Finance here, insure here. Alabama One Credit Union, the one you turn to for your financial needs. Alabama One Agency, the one you turn to for your insurance.
Martin Houston, you can hear him mornings beginning at 6 a.m. here on the Blitz on Tide 102.9, and also you can hear him on most days on the Encore Edition, 6 p.m. Martin Houston, I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, sir.
Roll Tide, and is that the tour train pulling out that I'm chasing?
I think it is. Thanks, Martin. Have a good one, man.
You too. Bye.